All right, we're back. We've actually got customers as opposed to what we had with our civil docket. We have 5 or 6 criminal matters set for sentencing. Good morning, California. Oh, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. It's 10:30. We've got a couple of matters set for 10:30, some city cases, at least one white pigeon case. 10:30 matters are William Saylor.
He's out there, I'll bring him in.
And George Trump. Is Mr. Trump here?
Yes, sir.
And then we have some matters at 11. Let's start with the Trump case.
Just unclick that box and then it won't show up every time.
And rocks back.
One second. Oh, go unclick that box.
Prosecutors are here. Prosecutor Davis is here and Assistant Frazier is here. And I'm glad they are here because at the time of the plea, I wasn't sure what to do with this case. Reviewing it again Friday and this morning, I'm still not exactly sure what to do with this case. But the title of the case is People versus George Michael Trump. That's you, sir?
Yes, yes,
You're here with your lawyer, Mr. John Bush. Also present is, excuse me, your lawyer, Mr. Tim George. Also present is Prosecuting Attorney Deborah Davis and Assistant Prosecutor Elena Frazier. This started as a felony, 10-year felony, assault with intent to commit great bodily harm. It's reduced to a charge of domestic assault, 93-day misdemeanor. I did the unusual step of lifting the no contact provision at the time of the plea, set the matter for sentence today. The defendant is a disabled veteran. He has both cognitive and physical injuries that affect his day-to-day life, and I think are connected to this case. Mr. George, what would you like me to know?
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, at the time we came in, I was able to speak with Mr. Gavery, who gave us the offer, and we do appreciate the offer from the prosecutor. It's my understanding that Mr. Gavery, once the plea was entered, did not have any objection. The court were inclined to put my client on the domestic violence deferral. Just my conversations with Mr. Trump, he's been through a lot. He served in our armed forces. He was honorably discharged, has PTSD, is 100% disabled due to his service. Then he had a non-service related TBI from a motorcycle accident, I believe 2017, is that correct? He and his wife share 5 children, have some young children, and I know that right after he was charged, he was right around 4th of July. So I know that he was missing some birthdays and holidays and things like that. And I think after speaking with him on Friday, he told me that in some ways he's glad that this happened. It opened his eyes. They had dealt with some struggles, each individually and then them together. If the court recalls, this was a situation where he was going through some medication changes. Things weren't going really well. And my sense is that but for that, he wouldn't be sitting in this chair. He is plugged in at the Veterans Hospital up in Battle Creek. Stoney has confirmed that he is plugged into services up there. I think all in all, Your Honor, I know this court says often that you don't know what you got till it's gone. I think that's very, very apparent here. Mr. Trump is willing to do whatever this court wants him to do. I think he'll maintain services at the veterans facility. If this court would like an anger management as a component of that, he believes that the veteran should be able to offer that as well. And I think just a timeout with court supervision, added services would be beneficial for this entire family. So we would ask the court to sentence my client to a term of probation, defer any jail for his participation in that probation. And we would ask the court to do it as a domestic violence deferral. Thank you.
Ms. Davis, what's your thought here?
Jessica. You want to speak at all?
She indicated at the time of the plea, she is the defendant's caregiver.
Yes, Your Honor.
Asked me to lift the no contact provision. So the family's been back together. I understand the VA has been connected. We took the plea a few weeks ago. No news is good news. I haven't heard anything bad.
I have not heard anything bad either, Your Honor. So obviously, the wishes of the victim in this case were put forth as part of this plea agreement, and we would not oppose having this individual put on a DV deferral probation, being that he is involved with the Veterans Affairs, any anger management that may be available to him through the VA. We would not be opposed to having that if the court is okay with having that as his anger management portion of the deferral. Certainly with his history and the things that he has been through, it's more, they can tailor it more carefully to his situation. It's my understanding the parties do have children together, and with Ms. Trump being his caregiver, certainly want to see this family be successful and safe. So with that in mind, we would ask the court to consider the DV deferral probation. I don't see that there's any need for us to recommend any upfront jail time. Certainly, the court has the option if there is a violation, and we would leave it to the discretion of the court. Thank you.
Mr. Trump, is there anything you want to tell me?
I have, after the incident, I talked with my doctor, and we changed medications. I was having adverse reactions to my mood stabilizer. It was causing me bipolar incidents, and I think that's part of the reason why this whole incident happened. It was a lapse in medication.
Well, as I recall, for reasons that aren't clear, you wanted to drive. And your
Correct.
wife didn't want you to drive for probably good reasons, and then you were trying to get her out of the car, and the whole thing went down.
We were going to my dad's house in January 16th, 2022 to give my dad CPR because my dad was having a heart attack. So we went over there, and on the way there, I hit black ice, and we're involved with a head-on collision. So she's very terrified of anything, of me driving, period. So that I feel like that was part of the issue as well, sir.
Yeah, she said she was having a panic attack. You did spend 2 days in jail. I'm gonna do a 24-month probation, means you discharge at the end of 12 if you're successful. I'm gonna order 32 days of jail credit 2 and defer the additional 30 days. This needs domestic assault, not anger management. Fine is $0. There's a $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee, $150 attorney fee, $960 probation oversight fee, which could be reduced by half, and you're to pay for the class. No assaultive or threatening behavior. I don't know that drugs or alcohol were a factor here, but I'm going to prohibit it because that certainly is contraindicated for your medications. We don't need drugs or alcohol in this equation. You're to complete the anger management, the domestic violence full class. You're to sign release from VA or other counseling source. And you are eligible for deferral. What that means is you successfully complete this probation, the charge will be taken off your record. Right now, there's an 8-year probation against you using firearm. And if you complete the deferral, that would also be lifted. And I think you're actually going to like this class. Most people do. They feel it's beneficial.
I have a question about the firearms.
Yes.
So I being a veteran, I have firearms.
Yes.
So
You're not to use or possess any. Well, so right now, you're not supposed to have any right now as a condition of your bond. We just talked about this at the judicial conference last week. This provision is in the law. Nobody's very good at enforcing it. The police don't want the guns. Generally, they're directed to give them to a relative or take them. I thought yours went to your father's house or something.
my dad passed away, so
Okay.
it's
Anyway,
yeah.
your firearms should be with a relative or somewhere. Where are they now?
they're locked away in a safe that I don't have a combo to. They're siblings. I think my mom has the combo.
All right, that may be sufficient. But we're all not very closely adhering to that. Anyway, that's a federal statute rather than a Michigan law that says you can't use a firearm for 8 years and you can't use or possess any as part of your bond. If they're secured and you don't have access to them, that should be sufficient.
Okay.
All right, I'll ask you to take this form out to the counter.
Your Honor,
Yes,
just briefly, when we were here the last time, I did provide a copy of my client's valid medical marijuana card.
he may
Let's put
use
in-
a.
Okay, I just want to make
marijuana.
sure that there wasn't an issue.
Laws all over the place on that, as are the research. People are mixing marijuana with psychotropic medications and alcohol, and we don't know. Nobody's got any clear answers. Let's add up those dollars that I put in the order. 125 in costs, which are mandatory, $150, which pays a small portion of your attorney fee. 960 oversight fees, 1235. You do this in 1 year. Subtract 480 from that, so it would be about 755 you need to pay for the class. And you're to sign a release from your VA services. No assaultive or threatening behavior, which is less than an assault. Yelling, screaming, shouting, that sort of thing would violate that condition. You are allowed to live with your family and be in the same home as your wife. No drugs, no alcohol, continue with the treatment, no assaultive or threatening behavior, sign a release. I think that gives us a pretty good handle. Your attitude is good. I think you regret this whole thing. Your wife is supportive. Let's see if we can make this a success and take this charge off your record. All right, you go with the court officers out to the counter. We'll get you plugged into the probation department.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is Ulysses Galvan Ayala here? Is he out in the hall, Todd?
I have not seen him,
Oh.
maybe he's, maybe.
Well, maybe you drove all the way here for not much, yes, well, good. You can go to Yoder's for lunch.
There we go.
All right, our other 10:30. Mr. Keywood is here and he looks like he's ready to go. Mr. Zimmerman is here. Let's do that one. Mr. Bush, you're here and your client is here. Mr. Zimmerman, would you come forward? This is actually set for 11, but don't go away yet. You may be here.
I'm just gonna run the right.
Okay.
You know, I was just given a look, Sawyer, I don't have a copy to give to the prosecutor.
All right, why don't you show it to her? This is file number 232243 SM. It always was a misdemeanor. It was charged larceny over 200, but less than 1,000. This is a weird case. Mr. Zimmerman, at exactly the right time, drove into the fairgrounds, went into a building and stole someone's wallet. And there's nothing worse than having your wallet stolen. Part of the age of the case is Mr. Zimmerman has been in prison on some other matters from other jurisdictions, and they didn't catch up with him until more recently. It started, yeah, no, it never was larceny in the building. I guess it always was this. Mr. George, what would you like me to know? I mean, Mr. Bush.
If court, please, Mr. Zimmerman has been a stand-up person. He candidly and openly admitted what he did was wrong. He wasn't trying to deflect any responsibility. He showed up, he entered his plea with the court. He has been incarcerated, just the court knows. He has regular employment, and there's a letter from his employer. He's working in the Benton Harbor area, and that's where he lives. He certainly is going to owe restitution. He understands that. He has a $200 cash bond, and he has regular employment. In light of what's happened over the past 2.5 years, I would ask the court to impose fines and costs and restitution.
Well, here's a nice letter from his employer, Tarshwanda, TORSHAWNDA Barber, manager of the Pilot Travel Center at Benton Harbor, Michigan, indicating defendant has been working there since December of 2025. Ms. Davis, do we have any additional victim input in this case?
No, Your Honor. There is a restitution request that was submitted for the amount of $500.
Yes.
It's my understanding that the victim had just gone to the ATM and taken out that sum of money to go on vacation. And so we would ask that that $500 restitution be ordered. As far as any further incarceration, I mean, the goal here, I think, is to get this restitution paid back. And if he has an employer that's willing to hold him accountable, we certainly would support that. But in order to make sure that he stays on the straight and narrow, we would suggest some term of probation until that restitution is paid off. Thank you, Your Honor.
Did you say, Mr. Zimmerman, you went to the bank to take the money, the $500 out?
I'm sorry, the victim had just taken $500.
I see. All right.
And it was in his
Yeah.
wallet.
I have $200 of bond, but when you steal a wallet, it's not so much about the money. It's about everything else that's in it. Your driver's license, your credit cards, your social security card, your insurance card. The money's almost secondary to everything else that was stolen. This is a big deal. This is more than a pat on the back and say, hey, good job working at Pilot. You were in prison, you got out of prison, you were over here in Centerville for reasons I don't exactly understand. I would still be mad if somebody took my wallet and everything that was in it. Now, you had some previous connection. You had worked at the fairgrounds in the past.
Yes, sir.
And how did you happen to be in Centerville on that day back in
I was
23?
working in the county, just by Centerville.
Okay,
I was working around one of the lakes.
and you
Like
told me,
Tempe.
but how'd you happen to decide to buzz in there?
I
that
think I
day?
went there, for what I remember, this is in 2023. I mean, I
Yes.
went there to, I think I was trying to find more work, to be honest, at the time. And I made a terrible decision, what I did. I mean, I don't wish that anybody or, I just feel terrible about it the more I think about it, because like you say, money's immaterial. The other stuff is not. I mean,
Well, what'd you do with it?
I think I was homeless at the time. I was living out of my car. I think I rented a hotel room maybe.
But what did you
Couple
do with
nights.
the wallet? Just throw
Well,
it?
I think I put it in, from what I remember, I think I put it in Shell gas station in the trash. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I'm pretty sure. And if I would have had a little bit of dignity, I would probably just left it on the ground somewhere if somebody could find it and gave it back to them. But at the time, like I said, I wasn't thinking right, for even doing it.
All right, so you're working at Pilot. You
Yes, sir.
have been since
December.
December. Have you saved up $500 to pay this guy
I have
back?
not yet, but I plan on it. I mean, right now I'm still living, now I'm paying for rent, and I'm getting started where I live now. So I'm paying $650 a week or a month. And I gotta go to my car insurance. I just finally got a car, so I'm mobile now.
Yeah, that's not a real priority. Now, when it came to getting out of jail, you came up with $200.
Yes.
But I'd have been more impressed if you showed up today with $500.
I understand.
You talk a good game, but to your credit, you own this. You're not minimizing it. You're
No,
pretty
sir.
much telling me what happened. One of your problems historically had been methamphetamine. I get the impression you've set that aside and you're not,
I've cleaned up from there since I've been out of prison, yes, and I went through my probation fine, clear, and that's all done now. I'm off parole.
and you're on parole in Berrien County and you're off parole. Is that correct?
Correct.
The only reason to put you on probation would be to collect the guy's money. What I intended to do this morning was just give you 10 days in jail. You could sit. You get out in about 8. And that won't get the guy's money back and it'll make you lose your job. But I'm not impressed that you've had months to save up the money to pay this guy back. And you don't have 2 cents to contribute to the restitution. And as I said, he had to get a new driver's license. He had to get a new credit cards. Then you put it in the trash, then who knows? Somebody else finds it, then it.
I mean, is there a way I can come up with $500 by the end of the week? I mean, because I can't lose my job. And if I can lose my job, I'm not gonna be able to come up with any money. I can make arrangements to come up with at least 500. I know it's gonna owe more than that with
Well,
everything.
here's how much you're gonna owe. If you come up with 500, I don't really want to put you on probation. You don't live here. You just got off parole.
I understand.
It's hard for you to get back and forth. You're employed. What I ought to order is about $5,000 to pay the guy for all the nuisance of having to redo everything.
I understand.
So I'm gonna continue this and see if you show up with cash. This wasn't a surprise. This didn't sneak up on you. I set it out weeks away to see whether you would do anything, and you didn't. John, are you available Monday, September 28th at 10:30?
Excuse me, I didn't catch the date.
Monday, September 28th.
I'm available that
At
day.
10:30. The old courtroom had cubby holes for all the forms. In this one, we just got a bunch of stuff crammed under the bench. I'm gonna give you a notice right here. The minimum that it would be $625. You have $200 of bond. And the court's gonna apply, so court will apply 180 of that.
Okay.
So you owe 320 in restitution, plus the other, I'm not gonna do a fine, but there's an attorney fee. So it'll be Monday, September 28th at 10:30 for continued sentence. At very minimum, it could save you from being placed on probation, could also save you from a jail sentence. You would show up with enough money to pay that restitution.
So it's 625 is what you're looking for then, you?
Yes. Mr. Zimmerman, are you still at Apple Avenue?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ms. Davis, I'll keep this letter and make it part of the file.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you're good to go.
Oh, I guess you wanted to do it too, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Let's do William Saylor. Frank, any son of Ulysses Gonzalez Ayala? All right, thank you. This is file number 26598FY. People versus William Saylor. He's here with his lawyer, Mr. John Bush. This started out as a welfare fraud felony charge, over 500. We don't see very many of these anymore. They used to be quite common. It was reduced to a misdemeanor charge of welfare fraud less than $500. It's alleged that Mr. Saylor was actually married, not divorced or split up, and his wife was receiving income from her employment at several different healthcare agencies, resulting in the receipt of benefits that they contend he was not entitled to. That would have been in the amount of $2,619. The matter was reduced to a misdemeanor by the prosecutor's office. And again, there was a expectation that restitution would be made in this matter. Mr. Bush, what's the status here?
If court please, he doesn't have the restitution today. The restitution is predicated upon settlement of a matter he has pending for back benefits. He's still telling me that he's expecting to receive in excess of the balance owing on the restitution in that matter. He is struggling. He's homeless. He has not worked for some period of time. He has pending a claim for Social Security disability, which has been denied. So his financial situation is not good at this time. I would ask the court to fashion a sentence that would give him the opportunity to.
He's on the phone.
Yes.
He just switched to third shift last night. Just woke up late. He's asking if he can still come.
Yes, he should be here immediately.
He said it'll take about 30 minutes.
Tell him that Attorney Geschwint is very disappointed that he didn't show up on time, but he should get his butt here as fast as he can without speeding.
Or committing any other traffic infractions.
What?
Or committing any other traffic
Yes.
infractions. Or
Well, he doesn't have a license. Forgot, he isn't a drive here. He has no Indiana license or Michigan license. All right. Are you and Clarissa still together?
No, see, that's the thing. We were not together. We don't live in the same house.
Well,
But we're still-
this is historical stuff, but you are, so you're homeless and she's not?
Yeah, she's got a job and I've been waiting on workman's comp. Took me about 4 years to get. And I'm still waiting on the part of that settlement for the SSDI. They give me a year and still waiting on the other check. Part of that settlement. And I got a lawyer on SSDI, and this is the 4th time that they're denying me on SSDI.
Yeah, that can be quite a process. So
I've been
really,
trying to look for work.
this is a kind of a thing that I wouldn't probably put you on probation for, except to get the restitution paid. I don't want to keep adjourning this on the hope that you'll get some lump sum check somewhere. Ms. Davis, what's your thought on this?
there's not a whole lot that we can recommend on this. Getting benefits that were in excess of what he was supposed to be getting. I mean, obviously he has the need for benefits, but it's not gone about in the proper way. So we do ask that the restitution be ordered, and obviously it's going to take him some time to pay it. But we would leave any other further penalty to the discretion of the court. Thank you.
When you say you're homeless, are you living under a bridge somewhere or you're just couch surfing?
No motorhome and couch surfing. When I run out.
Say that again?
Living in the motorhome and it's got solar panels on it and stuff. So, I mean, I can use everything in it.
All right.
I was actually thinking about selling it to pay this off.
Well, then you are homeless. Well, were you and Clarissa together at the time this went down?
No,
You were married.
we were married. We couldn't get the divorce because we both didn't have any money. I was waiting on workman's comp. She was paying her bills.
What it says in the affidavit is from January 24 to May of 24. Provided assistance listing 203 Ellerman Street, reported residing with Clarissa Saylor and reported her as his ex-wife friend. So according to this, you were in the same house. So she was actually a beneficiary of these benefits to help share the household income. You got arrested on April 19th. You posted bond on April 21st. I'm gonna do a 12-month probation. I'm gonna order 12 days credit 2, leaving 10 days to serve. I'm putting you on probation. Probation oversight fee is $5 a month. They indicate there is no such thing as a non-reporting probation. That would be $60 probation oversight fee. A minimum fine of $0, $75 crime victims' rights fee, and a $50 state minimum fee. I will waive your attorney fee, although Mr. Bush has certainly earned it, and restitution of the amount of $2,619. There's $100 of bond, which is a 10% bond. So let's add this up. 125 plus 60 plus 2619 equals 2804. Minus $90 is 10% of that $100 bond equals 2,714. If you pay this off, I would discharge you from this probation. Otherwise, there's no reason to have you on here. You're disabled. I would order community service, but if you can't work, you probably. So this is a probation strictly to attempt to collect restitution on this matter. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to pay something each month, even if it's $20. To at least make a good faith effort to deal with this. So you're not divorced yet, you're still married?
No, we're divorced. Finally.
You are divorced now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're still friends, I guess that's something.
Yeah, we're better friends than together. They're using her address as a mailing address.
My probation officers are gonna go, what do you want me to do with this? Make good faith effort to make payment. All right, you go out to the counter, the probation department will come up and check in with you.
Excuse me, did you spent him to 12 credit too? Did you defer those days?
Yes,
I
thank you,
didn't
John.
catch that.
I didn't note that. Of the 12 days ordered, 10 are deferred. All right, Mr. Kiewit, we're gonna address your cases.
Did we call Galvin?
He's on his way.
Oh, excuse me, I didn't.
He called and said he's overslept and he was gonna be here by 11:30. So if you'd wait just a little bit. If he drives here, maybe we'll just send him straight to jail. Thank you, Mr. Bush. In keeping with today's bunch of.
Judge,
Yeah,
can I approach?
yeah, certainly.
Sure, can I get by that?
Dave, why don't you sit in the outside chair? Let Mr. George come in.
Thank you.
What? Sure, well, yeah, pull up a chair.
How do I adjust it?
Mr. Kiewit, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
This is file number 26339, People versus David Ken Kiewit. He's here with his lawyer, Mr. Tim George. Also present is prosecuting attorney Deborah Davis. Assistant Prosecutor Elena Frazier, and Priscilla Walton is here from the Probation Department. She prepared the summary screening report in this case. It has a FY suffix, which stands for felony. It started out as a possession of cocaine and the possession of other controlled substance, which would be fentanyl, and operating while intoxicated. In this case, it appears the intoxication was by a controlled substance. Another case, I'm not really sure what to do with this. Mr. Kiewit almost left this earthly coil on the date of this, which was last November. I still haven't exactly figured out where you were going. It was like 6 o'clock at night, and you hit some trees and about killed yourself. Your blood alcohol came back as zeros, which was a surprise to me and probably everybody else. You had possession of fentanyl and possession of cocaine, crack cocaine. I didn't see any blood report that showed fentanyl or cocaine in your bloodstream. If it was there, I couldn't find it.
Your Honor, if I may, if there is an MSP lab report regarding that,
Let me look.
and send it to Mr. George, did you get it?
I have it.
Okay.
What's the date of it?
Date completed January 9th. Let's see what day they sent it.
I have the one that shows no alcohol, and I have the one that shows the analysis of the substance.
It looks like it was sent out for discovery on 7/1. And it indicates there was the metabolite from cocaine and cocaine itself at 28 nanograms per milliliter and fentanyl at 1.6.
And also benzos.
The benzoglycanine is the, what I understand is the metabolite from cocaine usage.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let me look again. I'm not crazy. I might be crazy, but these. All right, thank you. All right, so having that information, Mr. Kiewit really doesn't have much criminal history. He has the telephone call case, and then he had the case that sent him to prison. He didn't go to federal prison. He went to state prison, and which turned his life and his family's life all upside down. Things have never been quite right since then. He's 11 years younger than I am. He looks 11 years older than I am. And he's trying to make his way in the world. Mr. George, what would you like me to know?
Thank you, Your Honor. And I know sometimes it can be routine for us to say, you know, it's fortunate that nobody was killed, either my client or anybody in the community, but that is truly the case here. You know, my client, you know, in talking about this, it was a scary situation. And you know, he was admittedly, I think on the interview that he did with Ms. Walton, he was acknowledging, you know, the substance use was to help to try to treat some of the medical issues he's going through. Obviously, the court can see, you know, my client is dealing with some medical issues, really has a hard time getting around. But at the same time, you know, that prior offense was, you know, about 30 years ago. He did do some time in prison and hasn't really had anything to speak of in the meantime. You know, I advised my client that this court would likely put him on a term of probation. He's willing to comply with what this court wants him to do. even if that's something where it gives him an opportunity to maybe address some of the pain issues that he's dealing with in a different way, I think that would be beneficial. As the court can see, I don't believe that my client has a prior controlled substance conviction. If the court were inclined, we would ask the court to use a 7411 as part of the reduction of the count one in this case. So really, I do believe that the recommendation is appropriate, but we would ask the court to consider whether this is something that can be done in 12 months instead of 24. My client has indicated that he's basically just going to try to stay at home, stay out of trouble, and do what this court wants him to do. Thank you.
Mr. Kiewit, do you have a source of income?
A disability.
I think you told me that before. Do you have any income off your property? You said you were selling hay. Do you have any?
My son, I work with my son, but there's very, I don't get the income from that. He's doing the work. He has another job. So if I can ride a tractor and help him, I do. My father did the same thing for me.
Yes. Now, you're not on your parents' farm. You're down the road.
No, we're still on the parents' old property. They sold 2/3 of it, and they kept 40 acres and a couple barns. And I live a mile down the road from there. And I farm. Then Tyler farms 100 acres across the street from my house.
All right. Now, this is operating while intoxicated. You're going to lose your driver's license, which is tough for a guy who lives out in the country. And I'll go back to you in a minute. Ms. Davis, we'll hear from you, and then Priscilla.
Your Honor, review of the file and Ms. Walton's report, I agree that I think the defendant is underreporting the extent of his usage of substances and his use of alcohol. Yes, there was no alcohol in the system at this time, but there certainly was a large amount of cocaine and the metabolites indicating that he'd been using more than just once or twice a week like he was reporting. That being said, his medical conditions too, the combination of those things and operating a motor vehicle are just not conducive to a safe society. And I understand that he lives out in the country and we don't have a lot of public transportation options. But when you're operating a piece of machinery, whether it's a tractor or a vehicle on the roadway, with his medical conditions, with his substance use, it's a ticking time bomb. I mean, we are certainly lucky that nobody was killed. He was nearly killed in this. From the reports, he was barely agonally breathing when the deputies arrived. They were able to get him the treatment that he needed. So having no license is kind of a blessing in our eyes as far as keeping him off the road. With that in mind, with his health conditions, I'm sure the jail isn't really jumping to want to have him in there. So I would leave it to the court's discretion on that. As far as 7411 probation, from what I can see on his CCH, it is accurate. He does not have any prior drug convictions, and I don't see that he has done a 7411 before. So we'd leave it to the court's discretion on that. Thank you.
Yeah, we all thought the same thing. He reports he was using cocaine once or twice a month or every 2 months to help him kill the pain. He was consuming alcohol once or twice a week. He would drink 2 to 3 beers. The whole evidence belies all that. Your truck is like a cartoon of a guy that throws all his beer cans in the back. There's there's pints of schnapps and there's beer in there and there's beer cans and you're drinking a lot of beer and perhaps alcohol. What made you hit those trees was not the cocaine, it was the fentanyl. And I don't have a good handle on where that came from. As you know, people are mixing fentanyl with all kinds of stuff. If I gave you a blood test right now and see what's in your system, what would show up?
Nothing that I know of.
All right, what did you take this day? You said you don't have a very good memory. What did you take that got you in that state where you were
I
barely
don't have
breathing?
any recollection of what happened that afternoon at all. I'm missing 2 or 3 days. I hardly remember the hospital.
Well, you remembered going to Walmart and
I-
Lockport Liquor.
No, I never made it to Walmart. That was my plan.
Well, where were you? You were headed down M60. You don't live that way.
No, I don't.
Where were you coming from?
I really don't know. I don't remember.
Did you stop at the Eagles or something? That's out that way?
Not that I remember.
Priscilla, what's your thought here?
Your Honor, I don't have much to add as to from what is my report and what Ms. Davis, Mr. St. George have added. But I do believe Mr. Hewitt is underreporting his use of alcohol and substance abuse. As we stated, there was multiple cans in the back of his truck, whether, you know, he says he wasn't drinking that day and it's proven he wasn't, but he's obviously operating a vehicle at some point in time and while intoxicated. And like Ms. Davis said, he's just a ticking bomb he's really lucky that he survived this incident. He didn't hurt anyone else. I do believe a supervision is warranted in this case. So probation department can oversee that Mr. Hewitt is not consuming any substance or alcohol.
Well, I have to put him on probation for him to be eligible for 7411 probation. On a drug charge. In the old days, that used to carry a suspension of your license. That no longer does. Order 10 days jail, credit 2. The 10 days ordered, 8 are deferred. Ms. Davis is right. In your medical condition, they don't really want you in the jail. There's 0 fine. There's a $75 crime victims' rights fee, a $50 state minimum fee. I'm gonna waive the attorney fee, although he certainly earned it. And I'm gonna do a 12-month probation, and that's $480 oversight fee. Substance abuse counseling and treatment as directed, which may be prime for life, sign a release, no drugs, no alcohol. I want a test. In fact, I'd like to get a test today. I want to know what's in his bloodstream.
You can send him right to the day reporting center after this.
Yes. Are you prescribed pain medication?
Yes. I just had a tooth pulled a couple days ago and they gave me, like 12 Norcos to take. Other than that, I'm only taking Tylenol and aspirin for pain and gabapentin,
Gabapentin?
which is Neurontin.
Yes. Um, What is the source of all this?
I had spinal cord surgery. They replaced C3 and C4 vertebrae in my neck by rebuilding it with cadaver bones. And then my spinal cord was cutting, or my vertebrae were cutting into my spinal cord. And they said I was one bale of hay for being in a wheelchair. I didn't have any pain at the time. I was starting to lose feeling below my waist. And it wouldn't have been fair for my parents if I put myself in a wheelchair.
How old were you when all that happened?
About 50. I don't know when it happened. They don't either. They said it had been an ongoing thing.
Well, you were involved in all kinds of athletic endeavors.
It was an ongoing thing they said it could have been 20 years that it was happening, but it was happening slowly. Usually they have like a 3 to 6 month waiting list to get in to have spinal cord surgery with Dr. Fabi. They thought it was so serious that they had me in 18 hours.
The probation is gonna be 7411 eligible. The OUIL charge, there's no sense to put you on 2 probations. I'm gonna give you, you're gonna lose your license. That's punishment enough. Then you get 2 days credit, 2 days concurrent with the 7411. And no fine and cost in that case. Again, I don't know what you took. I don't know if you snorted some powdered cocaine, you smoked some crack that had fentanyl in it, whether you're taking fentanyl otherwise in a pill or liquid or, so I'm fumbling in the dark. But I want to know what's in your system right now. And we're going to find out what we're actually dealing with. Because if it is fentanyl, you can't just turn it off like a switch. All right, you go with Miss Walton. You're going to do a drug test at the day reporting center. We're going to find out what's in your system. If your prescribed Norcos are in there, that's not an issue. But I want to know what else is in there.
The only thing they had me on was amoxicillin, was an antibiotic, along with the Norcos when I had my tooth extracted.
Well, that shouldn't affect any. If you get back to
Okay.
Mr. George, and you go with Miss Walton.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Davis, you're off the hook now.
Yes, we're
Ms. Gishwin's
done.
got her 10 o'clock scholar. Let's do Ulysses Galvan Ayala. Thank you, Tim. Someday this will all be yours. Have a seat, thank you. I was here anyway. Your lawyer and the prosecutor had to wait, but at least you got here, so that's something. And you had a driver bring you here, so that's good. This is the time for sentence in the matter of People's Ulysses Galvan Ayala. File numbers 261009OT. This is a White Pigeon ordinance case. Attorney Aaron Geschmidt is here from White Pigeon on behalf of White Pigeon Police Department. Started out as a driving suspended, was reduced to no ops in possession, which is a pretty minor offense. It doesn't carry any points. But the defendant's got $2,640 worth of previous unpaid tickets. Not all of them are traffic. He has a careless from 2019 that he owes $210. He has a misdemeanor registration plate, 222, speeding, 110 from 2025, impeding traffic from 2024, $140, and defective equipment, $150. So I couldn't, yes? Yes, that's a usual case. We'll just have to schedule it, I guess. Mr. Bush, what would you like me to know?
He shared with me as recently as last Friday, he made payments. I don't know if that,
Well, they haven't hit the file yet. I had my secretary check it just like a half an hour ago. So you made some
paid
pay-
some on Friday, you said?
Yeah, Friday.
He's saying last Friday.
Paid how?
So what?
Paid how?
Oh, I came in cash,
All right, how much did you pay?
$140. They were trying to put it on I told the clerk that I was trying to pay off the traffic tickets first before I started messing with the assault and battery one.
Well, you're right. That's what I would prefer.
Yeah, that's what I thought you wanted me to do. That's why I had told them, because at first they did try to put it on the assault and battery one, but then I caught on, so I told them to switch to pay off the traffic tickets instead.
All right, let me look here.
I was at $3,000, but I'm not sure what my balance was at after that.
Well,
How much do you think you paid since we were
the
here? on
assault and
June
battery
26th?
is 1,000. That's the big one.
Yeah, I kind of want to leave that one.
That's
back.
from 2021, but the point of it is he has a history of not paying anything. 19, no payment, 22, no payment, 21, no payment, 23, no payment, 24, no payment, 25, no payment. He doesn't have a valid license. He's suspended in Indiana. He doesn't have a Michigan license. And he's got a history of not paying his fines. But the case itself isn't all that consequential. But then he sleeps through the sentence. Let me look at this.
They give you receipts?
Yeah, they keep receipts. These never show.
You didn't bring, you didn't bring.
But putting him in jail doesn't get anything paid either.
I've been paying. I've been coming.
He's sharing, he thinks he's paid off 2 tickets
I paid off a couple more than that. I know.
since that June date, but he doesn't have the receipts with him.
I can't tell. I'll take it, your word that you were here Friday. Buddy, remember waiting on Mr. Ulysses Galvan Ayala last week? Where are you working?
Myers Plastics now, Bristol. I was working in the Fremont area at the pool heading, but I got a better opportunity here in Bristol and closer to home instead of driving all the way to
Are you,
Fremont.
you still live in Elkhart?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Gishwin, what's your thought here?
Well, quite frankly, Your Honor, before I'd heard how much he does owe to the court, I was going to ask the court to consider an extra $200 for the hours, extra attorney's fees that he cost the village of White Pigeon. Since hearing that, I will just simply leave it at the court's discretion.
All right, no ops in possession was a generous offer because it doesn't carry any points. Your driving record is a little screwy because you get a lot of stuff in Michigan and then they send it to Indiana. I'm not sure what Indiana does with it. But the clear answer is you weren't supposed to be here driving in May. I'm just gonna treat it as a regular case, $75 crime victims, I mean, a fine, $75 crime victims' rights fee, $50 state minimum fee, $150 attorney fee, police restitution of $100 to White Pigeon PD. That is $425. Excuse me, $450. Got to pay that by September 30th or do 9,000 days in jail. Can't order 9,000 days in jail. You got to pay this one. I'm not going to chase you around for it. You got to pay $450 by the end of September, or I'm going to give you 10 days in jail and wipe out that fine. So the other stuff, that A and B has a restitution component in it, which is why it's so big. Maybe we should do a show cause in that, but I want this one to get paid.
And he needs to be careful when he pays to make sure it gets applied to the right file.
Yes, this will have the file number on it, 261009 OT. Yeah, somebody in that assault and battery case has been waiting for 5 years for restitution, which you've been pretty cavalier about. Maybe we'll treat that case on its own merits with a show cause, but I want you to pay this fine. I want you to continue to pay. My preference, I guess, after this would be any payments made go toward restitution in that case. Stop driving. I don't, what you do in Indiana is your business, but stop driving here. All right, you're good to go.
All right, thank you.
Ms. Cashman, I appreciate you being here. We don't usually have somebody here on the White Pigeon cases, but that was a long way to come for that.
I like the covered bridge.
Okay. All right.
I got a picture of me in my wedding dress under the covered bridge. I got married over in Centerville. I like it down here.
When did you get married?
2012.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we like it down here too, but let me stop the live stream.